Hi, everybody. This is Bonnie Buckley with Super String Studio, and I am so excited today to have Dorothy with us. She's also here in China, and we met a couple of years ago when we found we were both working in the Shanghai Baroque Soloists concert together. Although at that time, Dorothy was singing in the choir, but she is a strings teacher, and today we're going to hear about what she's doing with her work here in China as string teacher and some of the other musical projects maybe that she has. So welcome, Dorothy. I'm so happy to have you here today. And could you please just introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself?
Hello, Bonnie. I'm so happy that you have chosen me to do this interview. And I will try to answer all your questions. So first, let me introduce a bit. I'm from Hungary, and my full name is Erdei Halkovics Dorottya Edina. And my English name is Dorothy. So the Chinese students call me Dorothy or Duo Duo Lao Shi, because it's a bit hard for them to say. So I was born in Budapest, the capital city of Hungary, and I come from a musician family. My mother is a piano teacher and a choir conductor. My grandfather was a violinist and conductor too. And my father's side has also many violinists and string teachers and piano teachers. So it was quite obvious for me to start an instrument, and I always wanted to learn the violin first. Later, I have also learned the piano and the singing, but first was the violin because I loved the timbre of the violin so much as a little child. So I came to China 4 years ago, and first I was an teacher in the Kodai Music Education Company. We made some teacher training courses for Chinese music teachers about Kodai method in Beijing. Then I came to Shanghai for a few months, and I have found a new job in Suzhou, where I am now, in a kindergarten where I teach small children. I teach them English songs and violin. And I'm here with my husband, who is also a violinist. And we have a 2-month-old baby now. So life has changed a lot from that time.
Exciting times. I mean, amidst all of the things that are going on around us, but our lives move forward, and it's amazing what you guys are doing. Maybe we can interview Gergo next time too. So awesome. So tell us what your earliest memory is about music or violin. What can you remember?
I cannot clearly remember that. Maybe it's from my mother's belly. I was already not yet born, but but there, and I could hear my mother's voice, and she told me that she played the same piece on the piano every day. And when I was born, after a few weeks, she played again, and I recognized the music.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't. Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, it's
so
just.
I was turning my head and looking with big eyes. Now I see the thing with my little daughter, that she's so excited about the sound of the violin, because we practiced a lot with my husband and played a lot during the time she was in the womb.
Yeah,
so
I remember
she's more interested in the violin sound than any other sound. She's opening her eyes and stops crying. Even if she is hungry, she stops crying. She can be calmed with music.
That's an amazing topic too, and it's one that I think we'll do vlog about in the future, because the way children, babies especially, experience sound, it's quite different to adults,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
it's a wonderful topic. And thank you for bringing it up too. So you're not just, I mean, you're a fantastic musician also because you love music and you've studied it to play the violin, but you also have further education. So just, could you just tell us briefly your degrees, and you've really put
Yes,
yourself into your education?
yes. Um, in Hungary, the music education system is quite good. You can start learning in a um, music school, which is for little children, kindergarten age and primary school age. And if you want to be a musician, then you can go to a conservatory, which is a level of secondary school. And I was student of the Bartók Conservatory in Budapest, and I had two majors, violin and solfeggio. I was always interested in music theory too, how the sounds form, and the harmonies and the melodies and the analysis. So when um, when we had to choose a major to go to the academy, first I chosen the music theory, but continued playing the violin and the piano and the singing and choir. So I have a bachelor's degree in music theory and then a teacher's degree in Kodály music education. So mm, that that was that was not an extra thing for me. It just came along because our our music education system in Hungary follows Kodály's principles, all of them. So it was really um, easy for me to do this, go on this path. And um, the entrance exam, I was 18, 19 years old. Entrance exam was the best. So I didn't have any problems with the music dictation and score reading, sight reading, singing. So I could get first a bachelor, then master in music theory, and then teacher's master, and continued learning the violin all the time and playing in quartets and different chamber music groups.
Yeah, that's so cool that you can come from this long tradition of great music and musicians in Hungary. I really admire that. What is your area that you really love to teach them the most, or what would you say your most expertise area is?
Um, I my expertise in the Kodály based relative solmization and sight reading and mm, general music um, attitude education and knowledge. So how we that's especially useful by beginners. And now I teach violin to beginners. So I can combine these studies, the games, the this attitude, teacher's attitude, and the instrument itself. So that's why my classes are different from the other music classes here in China. I don't uh, I don't teach the rhythm and the fingering or the bowing. I try to teach the music and generally give them good approach and knowledge about this and learn and teach them how to enjoy music and how to live with it. So not just one lesson, but they can when they learn a song, how they can build it in their life. And I'm really happy when I meet the kids in the corridor, and they sing the song what I have taught them without me. Even if I'm not there, they are singing that song. That makes me really happy.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's almost like how music is a language, and they're just sharing that back with you, what you've taught them. I love
Yeah,
that so much. So you use the Kodai method, and that was all in your schooling. Is that the method
yeah.
that you learned, or did you also have another method of study when you were growing up, or was that the main thing?
And the main thing, we were always thinking in this system. So it's really strange for me to hear someone sing with absolute tonicization. I feel physical pain when I hear um, mi fa sung with major second. For example, mi fa is natural. Mi fa. I can't do that.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
just
I mean,
really
I grew in
frustrating.
my
Yeah.
solfege. We did this.
Uh, uh,
That would have been hard for you.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
did you have a
So,
teacher? Oh,
yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry.
especially
Do you?
relative to conversation. There are many things which are so natural and so good in Korean and really useful and makes sight reading and understanding music so much easier. So I try to teach this also.
Mhm. Was there a teacher that you had in particular who really inspired you?
Yeah, my mother.
Mhm.
She was always a role model for me. Even if she's not violin teacher, but her approach to music and her knowledge and everything she did, and it was so inspiring for me. She had a choir. I was singing there more than 10 years. I've been singing there, and I have seen her how she's practicing at home and how she's preparing for rehearsals and concerts. And she said that for her, when she's doing the rehearsal, it can't all the rehearsals feel or must be like concert for her. So important.
Hmm. That's
So so yeah, yeah.
it's a great
If
concept
she
to
is
think of.
leading, then she has to prepare so as if it would be a concert.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a wonderful concept of making your practice a kind of concert. I mean, a formal like
Yeah, yeah,
preparation for each time. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, what made you decide to become a strings teacher, or why did you go into this?
Um, I wasn't always working as a string teacher. So yeah, now in the Elton kindergarten, I have many groups, uh, violin groups and individual students, and I like it very much. But I didn't know when I was finishing the university. I didn't know which instrument I will teach for longer time. So but I feel lucky now that I can do this. I really like it, and mm, so first I in the music school, I always wanted to be sing teacher, violin or a chamber music teacher, but then so many other aspects of music um, came to my mind, so many interesting parts. So I also started learning music theory, but then when I'm 31 years old, I'm again closer to the violin than to anything else, any other side of music. It's so interesting. It came back to my life.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Thank you so much for sharing about that. What do you think is the most difficult thing about teaching or where you work, or any unexpected things that happened since you've been teaching?
Mm, it's hard to teach beginners. You never know what will happen. 5, 6, 7 years old children. Um, you just never know.
You have
So
my
you
utmost
prepare for
respect doing
anything.
this. I mean,
Yeah,
I've had a few, and
yeah.
honestly, for me, that's
Mhm.
that's the hardest age to teach, but you're like a saint.
Yeah. So when they find out that they start to play with the instrument in a way that the violin is a puppet, and they don't want to break the violin. They don't want to do anything bad. They are just playing with it, and then start to to maybe have the other kids violin and bow, and then do this and just play with it in a way that so it can be dangerous.
Hmm.
And then make them understand what is an instrument. Instrument has sound. You can play anything with it. How to use it. So this is really our part at the very beginning. And then at the second semester, the first semester is like this, and we have to learn what is an instrument and how to deal with it, and so on. And in the second semester, it's always better because they already have some experience with the violin. And now, after this long break, when they came back, there were some students, older students, who learned from me last semester. And I didn't tell them to take out the bow, only the violin. But one boy was so excited, took out everything and started playing. And his posture was so good. I was surprised that he remembered so many things after 5 months of, and he produced some nice sounds even.
Oh, that's so cool. They're like thirsty for
Yeah.
knowledge, I mean, they're just so ripe for learning. I love this, that, the children just are like sponges and want to, I mean, I just feel that we are putting these things in them, and they give back because they're ready, and they just need this sort of wonderful stimuli that we give them as string teachers. Do you have any
Yeah.
favorite quote of a teacher or virtuoso or anyone?
Yeah, I have to say that today's point. Let music belong to everyone.
Let
So
music
not just,
belong.
yeah. Let music belong to everyone,
Hmm.
not just those who have money or who have good education. Everyone,
That's right.
because it's the food of the soul. You just need it. You can't live without music.
Hmm. So, could you tell us any like teaching related book or anything you've read lately?
Not lately, but I would recommend Manuhin's books, and I love them very much, and they are so human. So most
Yeah,
of them,
one of his books influenced me a lot too. When I was a kid, I checked it
uh,
out of the library, and there were only maybe, I don't know, a couple of books about music education in our little library, and that was one. It was just so lucky to find that book. It really did have a big impact on me too.
yeah, and it's
Definitely.
really interesting how he connects the yoga and the violin and some practices from Eastern countries with Western music. It's really interesting for me living here in China as a Western music teacher.
Hmm.
So,
So, do you have any advice for string teachers or new string teachers or any string teacher?
yeah. Be patient, maybe. And then um, for us, we after so many years of practice, um, we can't imagine how hard it can be to first to play a song or piece, and you have to share your attention to your left and right hand, intonation, and bowing, and there are so many things even at the very beginning when we didn't talk about music and phrasing. So many things to
Mm,
pay attention to. It can be really hard for a beginner, or any student who is still not on a professional level. So you have to be really patient, and don't waste too much in one class. Let them give them time to allow them to get better, and give time to to learn the pieces, get more matured, and don't want everything in one lesson.
Mhm. I'm really glad you said that too. It's something that I think it's easy to take for granted because, like you said, we've become
Yeah, we've become,
violinists, and it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
different world compared to a beginner's idea about learning strings or anything. And yeah, we really cannot take it for granted, and we have to adapt to a different way of thinking about it, or somehow reconnect to how they're learning and experiencing all these things. It's too much to expect everything at once or do it all. We cannot do it all in one lesson, of course.
Yes,
So I know your
absolutely.
students love you, and they, like you just mentioned, that they will play or sing a song back to you that you've been teaching them. What do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think are your students' favorite part of learning strings?
Um, the favorite part is when I finally allow them to use the bow.
After
Because
a long time,
in the
right? I
first
know.
few months, in the first month, we just practice things, but with right hand, with left hand. I have a wonderful book I didn't mention. I'm teaching from the Colorful Strings, written by Silvai Geza, with who was also string teacher, violin teacher, but racing Kodály method. So it is perfect for me to teach from, and it has Chinese translation too, and it's really great for kindergarten age because it's colorful. The kids get easily interested in it, and it's easy to follow for them, and it gets gradually a bit more difficult, very step by step, and so they like the book too, but there is a lot of clacking at the beginning, and some other exercises and learning basic music music elements like rhythms and some section notes, and then when I finally let them unpack the bow, they are so happy. And they move the bow very fast and rhythm, and how to feel the steady bass beat, and slowly they get to know not just the uncontrollable movements, but it's nice to see when they start to get control over the bow.
Mhm. That's a very big day in their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
I can vouch for this as well. Dorothy, what do you remember about your first violin teacher? Can you remember back to that?
Yes, yes. My first violin teacher in the music school, I called Marta, and she and her whole family are violinists too.
Mhm.
Her, her husband and daughter and son are all violinists. And she had a lot of students, and
Wow.
yeah, yeah, and some of them were going to be professionals, not just me. So that means, yeah, she was really a good teacher. And when I did something wrong or I just lost my attention, she always said my full name. And it was so funny for me at that time.
Very
And
interesting.
yeah, yeah, she was always nice. She was never, she was not too strict, but made me to practice to get motivated without being too strict. So
Cool.
that's
Yeah, that's so
that's so
important
good.
in a
And
first
we
teacher.
had long, long lessons during weekends.
Mhm.
During weekends too, we had, because she was teaching the more talented students 3 4 hours or three, no, not three, 3 lessons per week, 1.5 hours. We should have only got 45 minutes, but she was she was having long, long lessons, 1.5 hours with us,
Amazing.
and for free and with lab, and
Huh.
yeah, amazing.
Okay, so just a couple more questions. One is, do you write or publish anything yourself, or have you written something? I think you have something to tell us about this.
Yes, I have translated. I haven't published, but I translated a book from Karol Fortelman, and it's a general music book from English to Hungarian with my father. And I've learned a lot from that book too. It's not a Kodály book. It wants to help parents to practice at home with their children, how to practice music and how to understand music at home without without much knowledge, without, not professional parents. And yeah, it was really useful to translate that.
Awesome. So how about has being a string player ever created something special for you in your life?
Yes, I've met my husband in the conservatory, and we had some quartets, quintets during the conservatory. These were the best memories and lessons from our secondary school or conservatory, because then he went to another city, to university. So the pieces what we have learned, the Brahms quintet and Mozart quartet, were really nice. And the company, if the company and the music is good, then we just feel happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, chamber music seems to have a very special effect on people. It helped lead my husband to me as well. And yeah, since we've played some quartets together with you, also we really, and I don't know, it's a very special experience to cherish. And also, we were talking about this last night with some friends who are not string players, but someone who has learned music as an adult. And he just said he wished that, you know, when he was younger, he had been able to learn an instrument so that he could have this, you know, experience playing chamber music together. He just really loves that. And at least, you know, now he can appreciate it and support it. So, you know, I hope that we can bring this to more people in the future and spread the word about what amazing experiences, not only experience, but like just developing yourself as a human being by learning to play an instrument, especially a bowed string instrument. So is there anything else you would like to share with me, or you're getting back to work now? And
yeah, I'm back to work slowly, and part-time first, and I will go back full-time only from September. So now most of my thoughts are about my daughter.
Yeah, this is what's wonderful for her being born into another musical family. So
Yeah.
I think she's going to grow up loving music as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time, your precious time with us this morning. And let's continue the conversation.
Okay. Thank you, Bunny.
Thank you so much.